Where's my face tracking box? They're clear. They're see-through glasses. Oh man. This whole video is going to be ruined before it started. So I'm very close to pouncing on a Fuji X-H2S, and I just wanted to warn you, just in case you hadn't seen the mountain of evidence that shows all the little flaws, little nitpicks that might irk you and keep you awake at night. I found them all, and we discussed them today.
All I want is the perfect camera. All I want is the perfect camera.
We are filming today's episode on the Fuji X-T4 with the 8-16mm Tony 2.8, thanks to Camera Canada for lending it to us. I wanted to see, is this a good vlogging lens? Could be a little warpy in those corners if you're not careful. But as long as you walk like that, like a pigeon, you'll be fine. Okay, so these are the flaws you might not think about. That little focus switch, right now it's a dial. I don't personally love it, but I can see for vlogging it's kind of nice. It's an easy switch, it's in the front. But when you're behind with a heavy telephoto lens in your left hand, there's no way to switch that. I have to use my right, so I take it off the grip, slide underneath, and flip it. I never know if I've flipped it too hard. There's 3 positions. Sometimes it's like first to the third. You never... Which one was it anyway? I don't remember, because I'm used to seeing, okay, manual focus is on the left, and then I turn around, it's on the other side, it's like left. My brain can't handle things. If there's 2 options, I pick the wrong one 50% of the time. So now that's a button that you have to press and then dive in a menu. I don't get, it's the ergonomics. It's little things like that that will annoy you. Just for example, in Sony, if I want a manual focus or autofocus, it's a 1-button tap. Just simple. Like, I can latch a bird. Okay, I'm following it. Oh, now he's hidden behind a tree. I press a button. Now I'm in manual, and then I'm going for it. Whereas Fuji, you're gonna have to press a button, up, down. There's 3 options. Which one was... Oh. It's annoying. Like, that's the difference between a point and shoot and a professional DSLR. Like, the speed that you can change settings. And Fuji ergonomics seem to be not very well thought out. I don't know how they went to that. Like, who would ever want a button and then dive in a menu? That button should change the thing. And I should be able to remove single autofocus. So that button switches between manual or autofocus, and it doesn't have to be that button. Any button does that. So boom, boom. 2 buttons, back and forth. Speed, please. For me personally, I use back button focus and manual focus. So I'm in manual, I see a bird, back button, it usually gets it. Press record, I might have to tweak, but I might not. And that works okay, but I can't back button record once I'm recording. You can make the sentence work. So we've asked Fuji to let us use back button focus. Oh, that did not get any better. It only got worse. Let us use that while recording. You still can't do it in the Fuji X-H2S, so that's a problem. Just a little side rant for you autofocusing gypsies who think that backing away 40 feet from the camera is still an autofocus test. Notice how every damn thing in this shot is in focus? There's no need for you to continue back here. Oh, is it tracking me? Oh, this is epic. My audience appreciates this so much. Oh, we're learning together is what we're doing now. Yeah, we are. Oh, yes, we are. You gotta be within like 3 feet. You piece of jackass donkey shit. Is it even? It's not doing anything. You were at Tony 4. Oh man, Tony 4 and you're backing up here. And you walked. I had to wait for you to come back. Oh man, if you had a rabbit, I would feed it some non-rabbit food. And you'd be getting back to some weird poo on your carpet. You'd deserve it. You would deserve it. Not one auto... There it is. Fuji sees me. They appreciate forehead glasses. All right, we now have a tripod on. I find that makes the stay much worse. So I don't know why I'm doing it, but I needed it back there to rant and yell at people, yell at the sky. So I think from what we're seeing, Fuji X-H2S autofocus vastly improved. Probably fine for YouTube. Much better than the X-T4, much more sticky. Some of the lenses, you know, they're just not going to be smooth when they snap into place, but it works. Doesn't mean you're not going to want to refine your technique. And the best thing to do would be to have a box the size of your body, and instead of asking Fuji to do the whole frame and guess where you are, you switch it. But they have the most annoying way of switching the boxes still in the X-H2S. You can have a tiny box, and then you can make it bigger until a certain size. Why won't that continue to the whole frame? In order to get the whole frame, you have to dive into the menu and select a completely different system. You have to go from area to multi, and now you're in this area. It's so frustrating. Whereas Sony, just, sorry to keep going back to Sony, but like when you do something right, you should be praised for it. Sony can switch between zones with one button press. I can be wide, then a center fix, then a little spot, expandable spot. One button press. Very easy. Whereas Fuji, it's like, still to this day, I can choose between tiny box, somewhat big box, switch into the menu to get a really big box, just continue all the way, or better yet, copy Sony. These are just little things that might annoy you. Things I've found, like the ISO dial. There is none. You have an aperture ring on your lens. The front dial can be aperture or shutter. Your back dial can be aperture or shutter, and none of them can do ISO. You know that you design lenses to have aperture rings, and yet you can't have an ISO dial. So you have to press an ISO button and then use the dial, and then press the button again to close that whole situation. Like, why? It's just little things like that. You'd think, like, why are you doing this? All right, last rant on the buttons in the body. That ISO button, it's back here. Okay, not so bad. The next one, white balance. Ow. Okay, now we're doing yoga. Third button, you literally have to be a demon to contort your body back to press that button. Panasonic does it all in the same plane. There's 3 buttons in a line. Fuji decided we'll be different for no reason. Back, bam, crack. Broken finger. Just a change of fucking white balance. Alright, I'm back to holding the lens in my hand with the tripod dangling, acting as an anchor, stabilizing everything, while my hair freaks out in the wind. Alright, moving on. Animal eye detect reliability. From what I'm seeing, it's not very reliable. Maybe in my hands it will be better, probably worse in my hands, but I'm seeing it hop and skip. It's like the face detection is now better, but the animal eye detect is like a Fuji X-T3 level face detect. It's gonna take a while. It's not like a bunch of companies are doing it reliably. Even Canon struggled, so I give you credit where you're lacking for some reason, but you should be doing better. I'm in the dark. How's the low light performance of the X-T4 handling? Nothing dark. ISO 640 still. Fuji not adjusting one bit. Doesn't need to. Why is that? Oh, you changed the shutter, I bet. I knew that. Codec editability. ProRes, you do not have 4K 120p. That hurts. I keep getting suggestions like, just use ProRes, bro. It handles fine. Not in 4K 120p. Try using the camera, you dick, before I knee it in the grind. Also, when I tried the 422 10-bit, that was a struggle. My computer couldn't handle it. So I'll have to revert back to like this. 10-bit 420. That's a problem. But there's this guy, Pascal Bazel. He discovered that 4K 120p looked like shit in 422, but it was better in 420. So that gives me hope that maybe the 240 frames per second, which looked like absolute trash when I tested it in 422, There might be a sweet spot somewhere with a 420 crippled. So maybe we have something, but just know that right now, 240 frames much worse than the XT4, and that hurts. Not as much as my shoulder right now, but it does hurt. You know, I never got the appeal of having a zoom for vlogging, even though that does look so dramatic now. I feel like a prime is the way to go for vlogs, much lighter. There's no reason to be doing this. Why would you ever do it? It's not like you could zoom in on something with this tiny 24mm super zoom. Give me a break. I almost died. All right, last thing I want to complain about. I don't know if it's happening now. Are you seeing any jerky movements? Like on the wide angle, I don't think it matters much. But in telephoto, when I do little stuff like this and I'm panning, I want to follow a bird, the IBIS catches up and it's very jerky, it's annoying, it's not good. That's still a problem, perhaps. I'm hearing it's better, but so far the people who are saying it's better have not shown me on a 100 to 400 that it's better. Who is this? I'm being followed. Oh, that is just rude. What is that? Yep, it's just a baby. Just a mother and a baby. There's nothing to be afraid of. It does scare me, but you never know what she could do. What's she carrying? I don't know. She could have bear spray. You don't know that she doesn't. She wants to protect that baby, and I'm the one that dies in that situation, so relax. It's okay to be afraid. So I can put up with the animal eye detect not being super reliable, and then I revert back to manual focus, but I cannot put up with tracking something and having it jerk out. That ruins like a lot of my shots. Like so many times I'm like, oh, okay, I'll just cut it there. Even though it's like flapping at its max. I missed it. That's a bitch. So good IBIS is good times. Who's that? I'm being followed. So Fuji, know that you have a cult following like me who will put up with these flaws because of your special look. The savvy color science in there. I like those little profiles. Is there nostalgic neg in the XH2S? I heard some guy did a review and he posted some JPEGs and he was like, nostalgic neg. And I was like, is that in there? That's enough to make me want to try it. It might suck. I'll buy it hard. So how did this perform today? Was it too wavy? And if you're super, the only thing you focus on is being steady and still, and that's all you talk about in your whole video, you might be able to hold your attention on it. But if you just want to walk, I don't know, man. Fuji has nothing wide yet. Nothing wide and fun. They have super wides, 10 to 24, but they all wave. They all wave to you. They're all heavy, 24, 22.8. Where's our little prime? Little 12mm 22. Wouldn't mind it. So thank you, Camera Canada, for lending the 8 to 16mm. Interesting lens. It's a little heavy for vlogging. The landscape lens, I understand, but I don't know. It's not the best vlogging lens. And he did leave a comment saying the Olympus 300mm prime might be on its way. I'm just saying, I don't know if that was just somebody impersonating Camera Canada, but if it was, we might have that review coming on the EM1 III. Not that I sold the OM1 already. I would never do that. I definitely kept it. It was such an awesome camera. I loved it so much. I bought it at Camera Canada, and someone has it right now, still. I'm gonna go after you buy a Fuji Assassin t-shirt. Tone fence. There's no tone. Oh, do that. Oh, God. There's some. There's stonework. That's nice. There's people coming. Oh, God. I'm gonna go.